Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Joshua Chris podcast. I am super excited today. Of course, Samantha with me, and she is a support solutions engineer with 5 years of experience. Actually, do you know what? I'm just gonna let you do the introduction yourself. Do you want to go ahead and tell the people about yourself, and yeah, so they learn about you?
Yeah, so hi everybody. I am Samantha, as you mentioned. I've been in the support solutions engineering space for about 5 years, and I've also just ventured into doing freelance web development as well. I have a non-traditional background, so I don't have any degree. I didn't graduate from college, and I got into tech with just some boot camp experience and some self-learning.
Yeah, that's totally amazing. Just very interesting. Cool. It's great to have you here. So let's dive into your tech journey. And would you like to talk about particularly how you transition from customer support to support engineering?
Yeah, I was working at a tech startup in support, and I had an incident at work and decided that I wanted to change careers. So I spoke with my manager. I took a demotion at work, and I started doing a boot camp, a part-time boot camp after work, maybe like 3 hours a day. And kind of got my skills up. I learned HTML, CSS, and a little bit of jQuery. And then from there, my manager actually helped me get in touch with the engineering manager, and I got transitioned into an internship where I learned front end. So I learned React, more HTML, more JavaScript. And from there, when my internship was ending, I wanted to find something that allowed me to still use my customer support experience. And I fell into support engineering, which kind of blends the customer support aspect, but also now you're doing technical coding issues.
I absolutely loved it. It's quite interesting thinking about it. I'm listening to, the things you're saying, and you did really ask for a demotion. So you could just have
Mhm.
the time. I'm thinking about the drive, thinking about the passion,
Yeah.
you know. That's just
Yeah.
cool. I had this chat with Angela, the lady from Pakistan. You probably saw the video, right? And there was a phrase I used for her. I did call her James Bond when it comes to coding because she was putting in hours and stuff like that. That's quite interesting. Very notable. All right. Do you know what? I actually checked out a couple of Instagram posts of yours, and I saw lots of beautiful things there. And there was this part where you said, I got the job. It was just very refreshing watching that. Do you want to tell us about it?
Yeah, so I actually was laid off, or actually fired rather, back in March, and I spent about 8 months without a job, and that's actually what sparked me getting into freelancing because I needed, a way to pay my bills. But I still applied for jobs and still was looking. I did get discouraged, a lot, but recently, today is actually my first day. I got a job as a technical support engineer, so I'm very excited
Awesome.
to be able to have a job again.
Yeah. How long did it actually take, the moment, you're actually like from when you got fired, to when you actually landed this new job? Do you want to talk about how long it took and also talk about your process, the strategies that you actually used, in, securing this role?
Yes, it took 8 months, and that's not without lack of trying. The whole time I was on interviews, at least 4 to 5 interviews a month I was going through, multiple rounds, because engineering interviews do take multiple rounds.
Yeah.
I got to the 5th round a few times, and my strategy really was to just utilize all the job boards I could find, but I always apply on the actual company's website. I created cover letters for each job. I made sure I tailored my resume to have keywords that pertain to the job itself. And I try to stay within the solution support engineering space so I didn't have to change too much. But yeah, it was really a trying time for me because at some points the rejection letters weren't helpful. Like the response were just like, oh, we just went with another candidate, or you were a great candidate, we just went with somebody else. So there wasn't any feedback that I could build off of. This interview, thankfully, it just I guess it was my time after going through so many. I think I did at least like 60 interviews. But this one, the
Wow.
interview process was really fast, and yeah, I got the job.
Wow. You've got that persistence in you. 60 interviews. I mean, of course, a lot of people have done a lot more, but 60 interviews, that is a lot, you know? So
And
yeah,
I have a cheat sheet that I keep of like interview questions that I might think people will ask. And I use Chat GPT to help me formulate some answers and kind of tailor it to my experience so that I'm always prepared for whatever they might ask me.
yeah, that's really cool. I do really like your story, personally, you know. I'm still thinking about the fact that you would really ask for a demotion so you'd have time. That was cool.
Yeah,
Yeah,
coding is no joke.
yeah, absolutely. Okay, so I mean, do you have any advice for anyone in that position, thinking about, currently in the same position, looking for the next opportunity?
Just keep going. A lot of my friends are in that same position, and I try to help them as much as I could. Just keep on tailoring your resume, reach out, use your resources, use your connections, go out and network. A lot of my opportunities came from people that I met at tech conferences or tech events, and reach out to people on LinkedIn. If you find the hiring manager, it doesn't hurt to shoot your shot. The worst they could say is no.
Yeah, that's really cool. Okay, so you're in the United States, right?
Yes, in Atlanta.
Yeah, cool. Let's talk about um a misconception, a couple misconceptions about being a support or solutions engineer that you've encountered.
Yeah, so a couple misconceptions is one that we deal with the public. Most times when a company has a solutions or a support engineer team, we're dealing with their curated clients. So it's more of a client based, more as opposed to like customer based.
Yeah.
So we're dealing with like a certain person or a certain team within a company that is specialized to handle the support for their company, as opposed to like just dealing with like the general public.
Oh yeah. Okay.
And then,
Yeah.
also, I guess one misconception I think we get from customers is how fast or how easy it is to solve support issues. A lot of times we have to go through different tiers and different ranks and escalate issues if they get too technical to engineering teams. And there's a lot of feedback from the engineering team to the support team. So they don't see the behind the scenes of what goes on, but we work really closely with the customer success team, the engineering team, the marketing team, the sales team. So there's a lot of moving parts in the background.
Yeah, I can understand that. All right. Cool. So, I mean, you've been in this space for 5 years. Do you want to talk about a couple of challenges and how you overcame them?
Yeah, so my biggest challenge I think has always just been because I am a non-traditional background person, just trying to find my footing in when I get into a company and trying to like understand how things go. I do let the imposter syndrome take over a little bit, so I had to remind myself of like even though I didn't graduate, even though I didn't, get a traditional boot camp, I still have the skills and I'm still very, able to figure it out.
Yeah.
Another challenge is learning the platform. Every company is different. The concept is the same, but every company uses different platforms. They could be Datadog or LogRocket for like data pulling, being able to find where the error messages are. A lot of companies use different code. One of my companies used Ruby on Rails, so I had to learn that on the spot in SQL. Another company was no code, so I had to learn their platform, which was like a whole nother like coding language.
Yeah.
So there's a lot that goes into support engineering. Besides just being technical, you have to be ready to learn all the time.
That's right. You are phenomenal. Do you know I said that? Of course you are phenomenal though, but you did say something. Whenever people talk about imposter syndrome, a lot of people they shy away from it, and maybe a certain percentage wouldn't want to talk about it. But you love the fact that you get that because then it reminds you about where you're at and probably your next steps and levels you wish to attain and stuff like that. Pretty awesome.
Hmm. Thank
Yeah,
you.
pleasure. So, let's talk about managing work-life balance, while staying on top of learning the latest technologies and trends and stuff like that.
Yeah, that is definitely something I still struggle with,
Okay.
work-life balance. Because, as a techie, you always have to be on top of the newest trends. And then, when starting a new job or when, working a new job, you also have to be on top of their programs, their platforms, their software. So just being able to balance the two, a lot of times what I like to do is like on my off time at work, or like if it's not too busy at work, I'll try to find a software that I can learn that kind of tailors to the two, kind of my personal learning of like JavaScript and front end, and also something that might also help me with work. My new position actually is in JavaScript, so that's
Mhm.
something I'm really excited about because I get to dive in deeper into like the coding because I haven't been doing that for a while. Because with freelancing, I just I do drag and drop websites, so.
Oh yeah. So, but you've definitely worked in, some coding related projects. Yeah,
Yeah,
so
when I first started.
okay. Do you want to say something more?
Oh no, go ahead.
Okay, yeah, so I was gonna say, or rather ask, talking about that, do you want to talk about the hardest technical problem you've solved so far in your career and what you learned from that experience?
Yes. So at the job where I had to learn Ruby on Rails, that itself was a learning curve for me because it was a whole different programming language.
Yeah,
But I think the hardest thing I had to learn was how to handle like on-prem agents
okay.
versus like prem agents. So learning like the cloud was a whole different field for me. So we had customers who didn't have enough space in their cloud, and I didn't know how to handle that, and I had to write scripts to be able to find out how much memory they had left versus what they had going on. So it took a lot of just like writing down. I took a pen and paper really and just wrote down what the problem was, what I needed to do to resolve it, what I think how to go about it. I did some Googling, some, reaching out to some other engineers, kind of telling them what my thought process was, to kind of get in the right direction. I was eventually able to figure it out. I was able to write the script, run the script, get the data, and then go ahead and communicate with the team about the memory and how much we needed and how to fix it. But yeah, it definitely was a big learning curve, and I think probably the hardest process I had to go through.
All right, cool. You actually mentioned, I checked out your LinkedIn and checked out your Instagram and a couple of this, but you didn't mention that of course, this is, I think, in your about section of LinkedIn as well. So that you use AI tools like ChatGPT and Gemini, for productivity. And
Mhm.
do you want to talk about how you see AI changing the future of technical support and customer experience?
Yeah, so while I was interviewing, there was actually something I interviewed with a company called Sienna AI, which was basically a AI chatbot that
Mhm.
was handling customer support. And it would take in the first tier of customer support and kind of handle like answering like how do I do a refund? Where is your store located and things like that. And I just thought about like where that can take it in the future. Whereas, as a support agent, we want to have time to deal with the more difficult, more technical questions. And we don't want to have to, deal with the easier questions because those are things that, don't really challenge us as much. So if we're able to offer that to some type of AI chatbot that can be trained to solve very simple customer questions, it'll give people the more time to be able to work on technical questions, more time to up their skills on technical platforms, and just overall, I think increase the productivity of the support team in a whole.
That's really cool. You actually design too, right? You do UI UX.
Yes, I do.
That's awesome. I
Thank you.
mean,
I actually
yeah.
just
Okay. All right. I'm actually right now thinking about all the things you do, and you started doing a lot of things probably because you were freelancing and stuff like that.
Yes. Freelancing definitely opened up my eyes to a lot of different ways to hop into technical and also creativity.
Mm-hmm.
I designed a bunch of different websites for a few different people. I got to learn how to do placement and UX design and how people navigate pages and how people like they don't read everything, where to place buttons, the type of text and how text feels and colors and how, it
Yeah.
generates that. So it was really fun to intersect the creativity and the coding.
Yeah. So talking about design, do you want to talk about how do you get inspiration, like from idea to production and even post-production? Do you want to talk about your entire process?
Yeah, I actually posted a video on like my process, but I'll go through it as well.
Thank you.
I I love like design and color. I've always been kind of a funky type artsy person. So I just always had an eye for colors and things like that. But the first thing I do, like I just made a website for a podcast, like a mock podcast.
Oh
The
yeah.
first thing I did was and looked at, yeah, a bunch of other podcasts. So I just went to see like what their websites look like, what type of vibe what they highlight, like what's important to them. I saw that like they wanted to post things where you could listen to them, how to subscribe, how to get the email list, where to see episodes. So I made sure I kept that top of mind when I created my mood board. I used ChatGPT to actually create some type of like user story. So I kind of understood what I was going for, and it gave me a lifestyle, healthy living type podcast. So I wanted to find colors that associated with that. So I kind of went on this AI app called Humint. And just went through the colors until I found something that was bright and happy and cheerful. So yeah, I used topography to make sure that the feeling of the website gives off what they're looking for. So I looked for a bright and cheery, fun topography to go with the colors. And then I just started designing the page. I pulled the inspiration from the mood board. And I also just try to see like what I would, as a user, what would pop out to me first and what I want to highlight. And I move from there.
All right, that's really cool. Yeah. I mean, design is a lot of work, and sometimes when I chat with designers, I just want to know how each person does their unique thing, and stuff like that. So that's pretty cool. I mean, and you also work with customers from technical to non-technical. Let's talk about a memorable moment, where you had to break things down for a customer and how it impacted you.
Yeah, so coming from a non-technical background myself, I think it's like second nature for me to be able to break things down to fellow people who are also non-technical. So I had a
And
lot of
also,
customers
so
when I
sorry to cut you short, but also you could talk about how it impacted their experience as well.
Yeah, definitely. So at my most recent job before this one I just got, we were working with a team to build a website, but the
Okay.
team itself was not technical. They just wanted to tell us what the website needed. So oftentimes they would make requests for features that just didn't hit the mark exactly.
Mhm.
So I definitely would try to take the time to, I would step back and be like, all right, what is the goal that you're trying to reach with this feature? And once I
Yeah.
understood goal, I would go in and say, okay, why? Like, why do you want to reach this goal? And that would kind of give me an understanding more so of what they're looking for. And then I would take their information, go in and kind of draft up a solution for them that was, better suited for the feature, but also answering their goals. And I would present it to them in a very non-technical way. I'll just say, this is the goal that you wanted. We could reach it by changing this to this, by moving this to that, and just kind of break it down. And I'll give time for questions as well. And I think in that particular moment, it really helped the customer, one, understand what they're really looking for and
Yeah.
understand how the is going to be done around it. So even for future features, they'll be able to kind of better understand what they're going to ask for because of that breakdown.
Okay, yeah. Here is a follow-up question of that because I do know it's so powerful. I prepared to ask you what I just thought about right now. Thinking about project management and project execution and stuff like that, and you relating with customers or clients, stakeholders and
Mhm.
stuff like that. As you know, most of the time, right, there are internal tools that you actually use when you're actually on a project, working on the product or whatever it is, right? So let's say
Mhm.
that how do you want to put it right now? maybe using things like Asana, using things like Notion or Trello, anything like that. You know, we have those tools internally. In other words, developers could use it. Designers could use it and be on the platform as well. But
Hmm.
have you worked in a project where you had to bring on the clients? Maybe have a separate um platform, maybe on Asana or anywhere else, and you brought the client on there and they could see the journey from start to finish and even post launch.
Yeah, we had Jira. So we had our customers able to see our Jira board and they can see the tickets that that they put in. We would formulate it onto our Jira board from their
Okay.
Jira board. And then they would be able to see the transition of the ticket and then when it was resolved as well. But
Yeah.
I use Notion for my own personal freelancing, but I use Jira at work.
Okay. That's really cool. All right. Good to know. Nice.
Mhm.
So yeah, I did read you about section on LinkedIn and I checked out your other social media as did say. I want to learn about because previously I did ask you if I talked about you doing UI UX and stuff like that. I do want to know how you tie the two together because you also code as well.
Yes, I do.
Yeah, so I do understand that you did a couple of things, while you were freelancing, which is absolutely brilliant. I love it. Right, but right now, I just want to know how you tie the two together, designing and coding and doing other things, doing everything that you do.
It's not easy.
Yeah.
Um, Definitely. I'm actually excited that now that I do have a job, I have a little bit more free time, so to speak, to devote to more coding and kind of taking that time because, when I didn't have a job, I was kind of just hustle and bustle. Let me get the websites out however I
Yeah.
could. So now that I have a bit more, stability, I can take more time to get back into my coding. The first project I'm actually going to work on is redoing my portfolio. My portfolio is built in React.
Hmm.
And I'm excited to just go in and kind of dig in and revamp it now that I have all these new skills that I can show off.
Yep.
But yeah, definitely, I definitely am excited to get back into the coding. And I think it's gonna really take off as I get better at my coding and with my design, I'll be able to build really dynamic websites,
Yeah.
and like really, off my skills.
Yeah. So, are you passionate about both areas or just you had to do it because you were freelancing at the time? I just want to know.
I do love designing. When I first got into code, I chose front end because I like building the UI. I liked seeing what it looked like. And I never really understood that UX design was a whole different aspect to coding until I got into
Oh,
it.
okay.
And I didn't have time to like dig into it once I got started. I was just like, all right, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to code. So having the time to really just do the designing part is actually it's fun for me. I really do enjoy it. So
Yeah.
I'm excited to be able to begin. I want to take my Google UX certification. And I also want to be able to, use that and my coding skills to maybe find me a job that allows me to use both.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. So you do primarily front end, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, okay. I thought you did back end as well, just a little bit or something like that. I was gonna ask you a follow-up question to that.
Just a little bit of Node, but nothing too crazy.
Okay. So, do you want to talk about the most rewarding part of your job, whether it's a customer interaction, or solving a complex technical issue or anything else, what gives you the most fulfillment in your role?
So with support engineering, I think I'm happy when the customer gets their answer and they're like, "Oh, thank you so much because this was really stressing me out." Especially when it's something that's blocker, like a bug where the platform isn't working or customers can't access the website. Being able to resolve that issue for them, I know is like a big thing because, when there's a problem here, it goes up and up and up, and now people ask you questions. So the faster I can resolve it, the better. In my freelancing, I really enjoy seeing my customers or my clients' response to the website designs that I design them and just seeing them like go out and use the website. Most recently, I had a customer who I designed a website for him to go to Miami Carnival. And I saw him yesterday after Miami Carnival, and he said that the redesign was an integral part in his networking, and he was able to get, really show off his brand better because he had a better looking website than he did before. So that really just meant the world to me. I was like, I'm
Yeah,
so happy like your brand is able to grow because of, the changes I made. So
yeah, that's really cool. That's really wonderful. So, finally, Sammy, what's next for
mhm.
you? Um, yeah, so
So yeah, I mentioned go ahead.
yeah, I was gonna say any project certifications, just about anything skills, that you're excited about. You want to tell us about?
Yeah. Um, well, I'm excited. Today is my first day of my new job, so yay.
Yeah,
Um,
congratulations to you.
Thank you.
You're
But
welcome.
my next project, as I mentioned, is my new portfolio, just to show off all the new skills that I picked up over the 8 months. I want to get back into my blog. I had a blog that I started that I kind of fell off of, and I want to get my Google UX certification. And I want to just continue building out my freelancing business because I really think that I have something amazing happening here. And once I get my skills up a bit more, I think I can really help a lot of people.
Yeah, I'm gonna be on the lookout, and of course we're connected right now. So once you know, keep like post anything, I'm gonna react to it, and of course the audience as
Thank
well. They're gonna be on the lookout as well.
Yes,
So
and you as well, I'm seeing your posts. You interview a lot of people. It's really cool.
thank you so much. It means a lot hearing that from you. Thank you, appreciate it. I was gonna ask,
Yeah.
if you've got any special, as a developer and a designer, you tend to get a lot of ideas, right? Because
Hmm.
you've got solutions, you prefer solutions a lot. So ideas
Hmm.
come to you all the time, right? I do want to know, are there any burning ideas or projects you've got right now on your mind that you want to work
I
on
have
that
a
you'd like to share?
I have a notepad full of ideas
Oh yeah.
that I want to make. One of the most complex ones that I want to do is some type of AI tool that helps you organize your computer. When I started making content, I didn't realize how much videos and screenshots and everything will be on my computer. And I wish there was a way that I can tell AI to go in there and just like tag everything and structure it for me and put it in a way so that I'm able to just like find my stuff.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's an idea I have brewing. And also a virtual closet. The millennial in me, back in the day, there was a movie, Smart House, where the person had a closet where you can see all your outfits
Oh
before you went
yeah.
in there. I think that would be really cool if you could like upload all the pictures of your clothes and then kind of like organize it in a way to have a virtual closet.
Do you plan on working on these ideas later? Which one is the first one?
Yeah. I think later. I think right now I'm just really focused on building out the design aspect of my business and really
Yeah.
trying to pull on some more dynamic clients.
Well, it's been absolutely beautiful having this conversation with you. I enjoyed it. Right now, I'm thinking the questions were pretty few. We probably could have gotten more questions, but it's so cool. Thank you so much for doing this. I loved our conversation, and of course, the audience, they got so much, insight from this. Do you have any final words for
Yeah.
the audience?
I just want to say to anybody who doesn't like, wants to get into coding or get into tech and is nervous because they don't have a college degree or they don't feel like they have the right knowledge, it doesn't matter. I am a girl from Brooklyn, New York, who had my son really young and dropped out of college, and I'm doing things that I don't think young me would have ever even thought of. So don't ever let anything stop you from chasing after the dreams that you want to chase after because the doors will open. Just put your intention out there and the doors will open for you.
Yeah, yeah. Well, there you go. Thank you so much. That was really cool. You inspired me there. Loved it. All right, yeah.
Happy I can.
Yeah, I do want to say again, thank you for doing this. And I don't know, we could probably have another episode together, sometime later, talking about a specific topic or something like that. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
down for it. I'm always learning more things to talk about. So
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So that's pretty much about it. Well, here's a question I'd always ask all my guests. Are you subscribed to all my channels?
I'm about to be. I not all of them. I
Okay.
just subscribe to one, but I subscribe to all.
Okay, thank you so much. Do you want to tell the people to like and subscribe?
Yes, please make sure you guys like, subscribe, repost, share, tell your friends, your homies, let the world know.
Yeah. Okay, thank you so much. That was very loud. I loved it. Okay. Well, it's been such a beautiful conversation today, a beautiful episode. Thank you, Samantha, and to have a beautiful rest of your day. We'll see you on the next episode. Thank you.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.